What's happening in Chicago right now could change the future of this franchise forever. We're talking about decisions that are going to define whether the Bears finally break that curse that's been haunting us for decades. First up, we've got a draft move that has the entire league looking north. A pick that could be the final piece of the offensive puzzle. Then, there's a national analyst who's finally saying what we already knew, but what the rest of the country refused to accept about this team. And to cap it all off, we've got a game this Sunday. That isn't just another matchup. It's a statement against the historic AFC squad. If you bounce now, you're gonna miss out on exclusive info that no other channel is gonna give you. With this kind of depth, stick around till the end, because I'm gonna reveal exactly why these three news items are connected, and what they mean for the Bears' immediate future. Hit that like button if you're a true Chicago fan, and subscribe because tomorrow, we're gonna have more bombshells that'll shake Soldier Field. First news, Kadyn Proctor, the Alabama monster to protect Caleb Ryan POLES, just pulled off something many thought was impossible. This guy transformed our offensive line from being an absolute embarrassment to becoming one of the best in the entire league. I ask you, how many of you a year ago were screaming at your TVs watching Justin Fields get absolutely wrecked every Sunday? I think we all raised our hands on that one, but POLES didn't snooze. He hired Ben Johnson, rebuilt the interior of the line, and now we've got something that protects our quarterback of the future. But there's a hitch, and you know it as well as I do. Left tackle is still our Achilles heel. Braxton Jones never got back to his old self after that injury in December. And while Theo Benedette's story is sweet, the guy wasn't drafted for a reason. He's a kid who's giving it his all. But when you're facing the elite edge rushers in this league, you need more than effort. You need top-tier talent. Now for the good stuff. CBS Sports just dropped their mock draft, and they've got the Bears picking at number 25. Let me repeat that, pick number 25. After years of being a lock for the top 10, now we're talking about drafting late in the first round because this team is winning. And with that pick, Mike Renner has Chicago selecting Kadyn Proctor from Alabama. I'm telling you, this kid is an absolute beast. We're talking about 6 feet 7 inches and 366 pounds of pure power. This guy moves people around like they're rag dolls. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. He's too big, he's too slow for the NFL. And yeah, there are legitimate questions about whether he needs to drop 15 or 20 pounds. If he can maintain that weight, if he has the speed for modern edge rushers. But here's the thing many folks don't get. Ben Johnson doesn't need a traditional left tackle. Johnson's offense is built on the ground game, on creating massive holes at the line of scrimmage. And Proctor does exactly that. The guy is a human bulldozer. Renner said it perfectly. In most offenses, Proctor would probably end up being a guard, but in Johnson's system, he can play tackle because the emphasis is on physically dominating in the run game. And let me tell you something else. You saw what he did almost scoring a touchdown against Missouri. Ben Johnson would see that video and already be drawing up plays to get this giant the ball. Imagine the possibilities. Imagine having D'Andre Swift running behind Proctor, opening up truck-size holes. Now, I ask you this, if the Bears really do end up drafting in the 20 to 25 range, what other need is more urgent than left tackle? I don't think any. The defense is dominating with Dennis Allen. The interior of the offensive line is solid. We've got receivers, we've got running backs. Left tackle is the missing piece, and here's the crazy part of it all. Proctor probably has too many question marks on his profile to go top 10. But at pick number 25, the risk is completely worth it. If this kid reaches his ceiling in the NFL, the Bears would have the best defensive tackle duo in the entire league. Think about that for a second. I'm telling you this without fear of being wrong. Ryan POLES has shown he knows how to evaluate talent in the trenches. The guy rebuilt an entire offensive line in one season. If he believes Proctor is the one, I trust that decision. And you should too, because this man has given us reasons to believe we finally have a general manager who knows what they're doing. Second news, Colin Cowherd finally respects the Bears. If that surprises you, wait till you hear this. For years, decades even, the national media has treated us like the NFL's punchline. Every time Chicago had something good going, there was always a but. There was always a reason why we weren't legitimate. And I get why, after what we went through with Trubisky, with Nagy, with all those wasted seasons. It's easy to be skeptical, but now we've got a 7-3 record. We're in first place in the NFC North all by ourselves, and 5 of those wins have been by 5 points or less. So, what's the first thing analysts say? That it's luck, that it's not sustainable, that eventually reality is going to catch up to us. I ask you, do you buy that? I think it's an absolute slap in the face. Because winning close games isn't luck. It's character. It's having a quarterback like Caleb Williams who doesn't flinch in crucial moments. It's having a coach like Ben Johnson who knows exactly what play to call when everything's on the line. And finally, someone in the national media is saying it. Colin Cowherd from Fox Sports came out and said something all of us already knew but nobody else wanted to admit. This Bears team is for real. Listen to what Cowherd said. They run the ball as well as almost any team in the league. They don't commit turnovers, but they take them away from you. And they're excellent playing from behind, which has always been a demarcation line between the haves and the have-nots, so I don't understand this sustainable talk. This league squashes everyone together. The team that always wins close games is Philadelphia. Boom. There it is. Cowherd just compared us to the Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champions. And you know what? He's absolutely right. Philadelphia isn't winning pretty this year, but they are winning. And in the NFL, that's the only thing that matters. The Bears are slowly but surely entering that tier of teams. We're learning how to win even in games where hope seems lost. And that's generally the hardest part of building a winner. Creating that belief in the locker room that you can overcome any adversity. I'm telling you this, the Bears have already reached that point. You saw it the last 3 weeks. Comeback after comeback after comeback. This team never gives up. And as Ben Johnson's system continues to evolve with Caleb Williams, there's no ceiling for how far this team can go in 2025. But here comes the really wild part. Cowherd mentioned something crucial. This Dennis Allen defense is crushing it in takeaways. We lead the entire NFL in interceptions per game, and are third in fumble recoveries per game. That's not a fluke. That's by design. That's having a defensive coordinator who understands that in the modern NFL, turnovers win championships, and when you combine that with an offense that doesn't make mistakes, that protects the ball, that runs effectively, and that has a quarterback who's maturing before our eyes, you've got the recipe for something special. I ask you, when was the last time we could say that about the Chicago Bears? I think we have to go all the way back to 2006, and we all know how that season ended. But this team feels different. We're not relying on a historic defense to carry a mediocre offense. We've got real balance on both sides of the ball, and that's what Cowherd is finally recognizing. It's not luck, it's smart roster construction, it's elite coaching, it's execution in the moments that matter. Third news, Steelers vs Bears more than just a game and just when you thought we were done. Here comes this Sunday at 12 noon at Soldier Field. The Bears host the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I know what you're thinking, it's just another regular season game, but I'm telling you, this game is way more than that. First, let's talk history. The Bears lead the all-time series 19-8-1. We've won 12 of the last 13 games. Played in Chicago against Pittsburgh. The only home loss against them was in 1995, in overtime. Soldier Field has been a house of horrors for the Steelers. And this Sunday isn't going to be any different, but there's more context here. Pittsburgh comes in with a 6-for record, leading the AFC North, but they've lost 3 of their last 5 games, and here's the juicy part. Aaron Rodgers, our old enemy from Green Bay, fractured a bone in his left wrist last week and was replaced by Mason Rudolph. Rodgers has a 26-5 record as a starter against the Bears from his Green Bay days, but he hasn't faced us since 2022. I ask you, is there anything more poetic than potentially facing Rodgers injured after all those years of torture? I think the universe is finally giving us a break, but let's not get complacent. Because even without Rodgers at 100%, Pittsburgh is dangerous now. Let's break down the matchups. The Steelers have the worst pass defense in the entire NFL. Let me repeat that. The WORST pass defense in the league. And we've got Caleb Williams who hasn't thrown an interception in the last 3 games. We're ranked 13th in passing and 2nd in rushing. D'Andre Swift is coming off a 90-yard effort last week that helped us maintain that 2nd spot in rushing in the entire league. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh is unusually struggling in the ground game. Ranked 29th in rushing and 28th in yards per carry with only 3.9. Their pass game has been mediocre. Ranked 22nd overall but 4th in passing touchdowns with 20. So, what does this tell us? I'm telling you this, if we execute our game, if we run the ball effectively and protect Caleb, We're gonna tear apart this Pittsburgh defense. And defensively, this is where it gets really interesting. We lead the NFL in takeaways with 22, in interceptions with 15, and we're first in turnover differential with plus 16. Kevin Byard is one interception away from having the most by a Bears player since 2018, when Kyle Fuller had 7 and Eddie Jackson had 8. But there are injuries we need to talk about for the Steelers, besides Rodgers with the wrist. They've got Darius Slay with a concussion, Cole Holcomb with an illness, Alex Highsmith with a pectoral injury, Isaac Sumalo with a pectoral too, and Corey Trice with the hamstring. They're banged up for us. TJ Edwards is still out with the hamstring for 3 games, Yaquin Brisker with the back, Tyreek Stevenson with the leg, and Jedi Walker with a concussion. But the good news is that Kyler Gordon could return from IR after missing for games with the groin, and Jalen Johnson could also be back, although it seems more likely he'll return against Philadelphia on Black Friday. Now, let me tell you about something historic that's on the line. With another comeback win after being down in the final to minutes, the Bears would become the first team in NFL history to win at least 6 times in a season when trailing entering the final to minutes. We're currently tied with the 2016 Lions and the 2011 Broncos with 5. That's a league record. Folks, that's making history. And here's another crazy stat. The Steelers have 101 takeaways since the start of the 2022 season, which is number 1 in the NFL in that time. And they're plus 35 in turnover margin since the start of 2023. So this is going to be a game of who protects the ball better and who forces more mistakes. And I ask you, based on what we've seen this year, who do you trust more? I think the answer is obvious. The Bears are trying to get their 4th consecutive home win. Cairo Santos needs 11 points to pass Bob Thomas as the 3rd all-time leading scorer in Bears history. There are individual and collective narratives at play here. And let me tell you something about the betting odds. The Steelers haven't covered the spread in 5 of their last 6 against the Bears. They haven't covered the spread in 6 of their last 7 road games. The Bears are 6-2 in our last 8 against the spread. The numbers favor us in every way, but I don't want anyone to get overconfident. Pittsburgh is a Mike Tomlin team, and that man has 197-122-2. In his 19 seasons, he won the Super Bowl in his 2nd season and has been in the playoffs 12 times, yeah. They've lost 5 consecutive playoff games, and their last playoff win was after the 2016 season, but this is a coach who knows how to prepare his team. So, what do we need to do to win? I'm telling you this. First, establish the run early. Swift has to eat. He has to break through that Pittsburgh defense from the first snap. Second, Caleb has to keep protecting the ball. No giveaways, no silly turnovers. Third, our defense has to feast, with Pittsburgh's pass defense being so vulnerable. Our defensive backs need to be hunting the ball all day. And fourth, most importantly, we have to win the field position battle. Soldier Field in November isn't friendly for visiting teams. The wind, the cold, the atmosphere, it all plays in our favor. We have to use that home field advantage and make Pittsburgh feel uncomfortable from the opening kickoff. This game is a statement. It's an opportunity to show the AFC and the rest of the NFL that the Chicago Bears aren't just back. We're here to stay. It's an opportunity to extend our winning streak, to solidify our division lead, and to continue building that momentum that's going to take us straight to the playoffs and beyond. So there you have it. 3 massive news items that are defining the present and future of the Chicago Bears. Kadyn Proctor could be the final piece to give Caleb Williams the elite protection. He needs to become an elite quarterback in this league. Colin Cowherd is finally giving this team the respect it deserves after years of being ignored and underestimated by the national media. And this Sunday we have the chance to make history against Pittsburgh as we continue our march towards the playoffs. I ask you, do you think Ryan Poles is going to draft Proctor if he's available at pick number 25? Let me know in the comments what you think about that potential selection. Do you think the Bears can really become the first team to win 6 games in a season after trailing in the final to minutes? That would be pure NFL history, and we could be witnesses to that. And for Sunday's game, what's your prediction? I think the Bears win by 2 touchdowns. Something like 27-13. Caleb throws the touchdowns. Swift runs for over 100 yards. And our defense gets at least 3 takeaways. That's my prediction, but I want to hear yours in the comments if you made it this far. If you stuck with me through all this deep dive, that tells me you're a true Bears fan. And I need you to join this family we're building here. Click that subscribe button right now. because tomorrow we're gonna have more explosive news. More analysis you won't find anywhere else, more exclusive content for the best fan base in the NFL. This community is growing, and I want you to be a part of it. I want you to be a part of this journey as the Bears finally return to glory, because after decades of suffering, of disappointments, of wasted seasons, we finally have something real. We've got a quarterback of the future. We've got an elite coach. We've got a general manager who knows what they're doing. And we've got a defense that's dominating. So subscribe, turn on notifications, and get ready because this is just the beginning. The Chicago Bears are back. And we're gonna be here documenting every step of the way. Bear down, family. See you in the next video with more news that'll shake Soldier Field. This is the era of the Bears. And we're not gonna miss it for anything.